I got a random hair up my ass to come out and do some random boots on the ground of more of these stone infrastructures like I was saying I was going to do. And let's just go on and get right to it and see what we find. And yes, genuinely, this is about as much planning goes into my videos. I just go with the flow usually, so I apologize for misspeaking or speaking too fast or whatever it may be. But here, I'm at the remains of the Webb Castle. And I wanted to show some of this limestone, because yes, they built the foundation of this castle on this very prominent limestone here. Because here's the stones that were rough shaped and made the wall here. If you find old pictures, you can actually find this. See the face of this wall. This limestone sticking out right here is usually, it used to be underground. Because in the pictures, you see the ground came up to like here. Came along here. Actually, there's still some of it remaining right there. This part of the ground that's still left, but then it washed out right here, exposing the limestone. And let's see what we find. There's some of the usual suspects of marine biology. So I got to get my phone closer so you can see it, so there's no excuses. If you can't point out the biology in this, you probably shouldn't be looking at this material, because you either have very poor eyesight or you're just choosing not to see it. But there's biology in this. Marine biology. There's more marine biology. I'm going to try to make it to a few more spots today, so I don't want to be here too long. Because, yeah, this looks like it's going to rain, and I need to hurry up with this. But here is the raw, weathered, all natural limestone here. And sorry for not getting very good shots of it. I'm trying to find stuff, but it's really hard to see it when it's got all this discoloration and stuff on it. Oh, look, here's a big slab of the limestone wall. Let me get back so you know this is a part of the natural limestone feature here. And the stonework is up here, because you can see the mortar. You can see the mortar under it. So they built this wall on top of the limestone bedding here, which no one wants to hear that, I'm sure. But as you can see, here's the stonework. Here's the limestone bedding. And I found my first visible bits of evidence of fossils. Oh, I'm starting to see more now. There's more fossils sticking out of this limestone bedding layer. How much closer do I need to get for you to see it? It's right there. You see it? It's right above my finger. Stop making excuses, it's there. And it's just speckled all through here as usual. There's more fossils sticking out right here. Right there, you cannot miss it. There's no excuses. No amount of mental gymnastics is going to explain this away. This Kansas City and Missouri, the Kansas City, Missouri area and Independence have lots of limestone. Provable. And it was used a lot in a lot of the infrastructure around here 100 plus years ago. 130, 150 plus years ago. You clearly see the fossils in here. And this is the raw, untouched stuff here. This washed out from underground, and you're still seeing fossils in it. God, go figure. There's some sticking out right here. There's more sticking out right here. This isn't melt. It's not transmutated fucking materials. This is exactly what it looks like. Stop ignoring the evidence for those who still are. This is limestone in the Kansas City, Missouri area, and Independence use a lot of it in their infrastructure. I would go to the Workhouse Castle and expose all that, but I'm not driving there today. I'll get that spot later. More fossil sticking out. It's hard to see through a camera, but I promise that's what it is. And I already said I was gonna do follow-ups on these stone structures, so I'm keeping my word on that. All while I still support actual melt evidence. Because I'm not against melt, so I wish people would stop taking what I'm saying out of context. Yeah, this is all natural, raw limestone. They built the wall on top of it. So I don't think I need to waste any more time here. You still see some of the spalled out limestone here, because limestone will spall out and fall apart like this. Yes, what a mystery. It's not cooked out, it's not melted. That's just a byproduct of the limestone. And being exposed to the elements for many, many, many years. Let's go up here just a tad. Some of these front steps you can see in the pictures of the old pictures of the Whip Castle are still here. You can see these from the pictures that look like they're taken from Truman. These steps are still here. Look like they, the natural limestone went to here, and then they possibly stacked more right here, because there's mortar and limestone. So it looks like they did some work here to put these steps on here to affix these steps to this location, which surprisingly are still here and haven't fallen yet. We got some more of the raw limestone sticking out right here. More of the inner exposed wall. And this is a very limey mortar mix here. That's very flaky and soft, which indicates this could very well be very old mortar. Especially this flaky, limey mortar right here, which is actually the lowest parts of the wall before it gets to the limestone layer here. So this is very old mortar, which I have collected some of this up at home for research purposes to compare and contrast other different mortars to try to date them, which is actually kind of hard, a lot harder than you would think. But you can see the mortar work here, and it's just flaky and powdery. Like, mortar shouldn't be this soft, but I guess old mortar like this is like that because it allowed the materials to flex and bend more when the ground would shift, instead of this new stuff we have, which is too hard and it cracks and falls out. So really, there's this spot. I guess I'll go on to the next one, which is off around this corner here. Don't want to pause too much because it kind of makes the videos jarring, in my honest opinion. But since I'm not going that far, I'm just going to keep the camera rolling. There's some of the old bricks I found out here to support more of the evidence that they would use limestone and these red bricks in combination when they built these structures. This has got some spalling and weathering damage on it for sitting on the ground for a long period of time, because I do feel like these red bricks are really old, because I don't think this Whip Castle was exactly built when they said it was, naturally. But this has lots of spalling and crack damage on it. But these are just some of the surviving bricks I have found out here. And look, let me get in the light here. Sometimes you'll see bricks with this black color on it. It's not burn damage. This is some sort of mineralization being exposed to the elements. But this isn't burn damage, that's mineralization of varying kind. I don't know why I had to explain that, but apparently I have to. Here's a whole chunk of natural limestone that washed out of the ground, I suppose, because this looks like this was underground once. Because remember, if you find out, because keep in mind, when you find the old pictures of this Whip Castle, Let me go ahead and do this again. This wall, you can see this wall here in the old pictures, and this part's underground. There's ground here, but this part has washed out. Reasons, I don't know. Maybe that just happened when they were trying to, when they were destroying the place. They started to just do that and never finished. But you see more of the natural limestone right here they built this castle on because it made a strong foundation. So they would always try to find this material to build upon. It's better than building on soft ground. And when they couldn't find limestone, they would dig into the ground and get to the denser clays and or try to find the limestone. And if they couldn't, they would just build stone foundation and then put bricks on top of it. Why I have to explain that is beyond me also, but apparently I have to. There's red bricks in the mix up there. And as usual, these mosquitoes are coming out and attacking my ankles. We got more destruction of the wood castle up here. And down here we actually have bent iron. Let's see if I can't get up here without finding any poison stuff. Here we got this bent iron piece. And this does say USA on it and has this maker mark. USS, I believe. And it is an iron company that used to be in the Kansas City area, I believe, if memory serves. And there's more red bricks and destruction when they knocked this castle down. Yes, I've been through plenty of this looking for stuff. But let's get on to the actual other remaining bits. And as you'll see, the natural pattern here, look at all this raw natural limestone. Since no one else will point it out, I will. And if they do point it out, they'll just say it's melted infrastructure, and it's not. So, guess I'll course correct for them if they like it or not. But there's more raw limestone all along the foundation of this castle because it was a smart place to build it because all the reinforced limestone made the ground solid. It's really not a mystery there. Some old terracotta from the castle. And some of the remaining walls are still in here. Let's see if I can't get to them without getting a bunch of trigger bites and mosquito bites, which it seems I'm already obtaining tragically. Yeah, that's right through here. There's a little pathway that used to be here. It's kind of grown in now, but I'll do my best to get up here without being too jank and avoid poisonous plants because I know they are through this spot. So I got to be mindful. But let's move nice and slow through here. And there are snakes out here also. I've seen several copperheads, I believe, or cottonmouths or whatever. Copperheads, whatever the fuck kind of snakes they are. I'm not a fucking snake expert, but I know I've seen some pretty mean looking snakes out here. But here's this part of the limestone infrastructure that's still left. And it's of course built on the raw limestone, as you can see. Here's the raw limestone, and there's the stonework built upon it. And in fact, they made these steps. You see the outline of the step here. You can see the outline of the step. They built the stonework on top of that also. And here are some remaining steps still. And more of the raw limestone they built upon, as I had to keep repeating, to nail it home. And this is tragically the dilapidated state it's in, and this is all really that's left of it besides the other wall I showed. These are the only remaining walls left. Everything else has been knocked down. In fact, I'll probably try doing a quick little show on that to kind of show you how sad it is up here. They couldn't just leave the damn structure alone. No, they had to knock it down. Speaking of poison plants, about walked into one right here. So I gotta be very careful out here. But yeah, this is one of the last pieces of infrastructure left. It cuts through here, comes over this way, and it comes along here, but the foliage has overgrown it. This looks like it might have been some sort of garden or pond feature. I don't know what else this would be. But we got some destruction in here. Big old pieces of iron. Wasn't trying to rip that branch off, but it wasn't giving me a choice. So there's this big piece of iron in here. Couldn't tell you how old that is or when they put that there, but probably when they built the castle, because this isn't a big piece of a limestone mix there of stuff that obviously was built. Got this bit of infrastructure here with more iron and more iron. Oh look, it's a dump spot in the woods now. Whoever would have thought? Like structures don't get knocked down in the woods. What a mystery. Explain. I did. There's more of it. But yeah, this is about where the castle was actually standing. You can just kind of see the speckled limestone remnants all through here with red brick. Because they obviously built the red brick and then added limestone around it to detail it. And there's evidence of it everywhere. Red bricks with limestone. No, it's not melt. At least in this case, it's not. But even if this material had gotten so hot and melted into a mix of a pile of stuff, does anyone care to explain to me how that got so hot but didn't char or burn the material? It just looks like a big wet mortar mix of stuff mixed together. I mean, let's be real. If something got that hot, it wouldn't look the way it does. It'd be burnt out. Something getting so hot it liquefies would just char black and be burnt. So this whole mortar with red bricks mixed into it is not melt. Because if it was, the red bricks had been completely vitrified and cooked out, and so would the material itself. Shouldn't have to explain that, but apparently I do also. I feel the need to anyways. But yeah, this is where the castle used to was right here. I'm pretty much in the castle now, where it used to stand. And I don't think anyone's ever come up here and recorded this spot. Not even me, and I've been up here lots of times. Of course, there's some newer additions out here because I did keep the place in operation until the 70s or 80s. So there is a mix of some newer stuff in here. There's a bunch of the limestone that was part of the castle, which is just now piles. And here we got this red brick in the mortar. That's probably a newer cinder block, so I'm not going to really address that. Got more bricks and mortar. Another cinder block over there. But yeah, let's go in here a little further, see how much of this I can get. Because now we're standing inside of the castle, if it were still here, of course. And this is all you see that's left of it. It's just piles of debris and destruction, which is tragic. And yes, it was used as a shanty. People came up here and left a bunch of trash. Unfortunately. The way humans are, I guess, right? But yeah, there's all this. I'm not really going to go on this brush right now. So, now that I've, unplannedly came up here, which I wasn't planning on doing, there's really not much navigation through here I could do. More terracotta. It's a damn shame seeing the state of this place. I wish I would have just left it alone. But it would have probably fallen apart at some point anyways. More terracotta and red bricks. This is about as far as I'm going to go, so you can see the destruction. More red bricks, terracotta, and other various things. This is an angle you can't see from the ground. Big piece of iron sticking out over there. Mortar and bricks. More red bricks. And over here are some of the bricks I was going through to try to find stampers and other things I might have wanted to keep. Of course, I've never came back to get them. Probably never will. Because I have no room for just these old miscellaneous red bricks. Because these red bricks are really old. But I just don't have anywhere to put them. But these were parts of the core infrastructure of this that they put the limestone over. All right, let's go ahead and get out of here. Bunch of poisonous plants through here as well, obviously. Let's see if I can't show one more thing up here. Then I'm probably going to leave this spot and go to the next one. Lots of trash out here. I apologize. Just bricks and limestone everywhere, amongst other various bits of trash. And there's this random big piece up here that this tree is holding up here. Looks like a piece of poured concrete. This is actually on parts of the remaining wall. There's destruction over here. Sorry for not spending a bunch of time doing it. I don't want to make this video super long, which is probably going to happen as it always does. More of this iron in here. You'll see this type of infrastructure in the workhouse also further supporting what I'm saying, that they'd use red brick and the limestone. Then they'd put these iron pieces in for reinforcement parts. If you watch Ross's videos on the workhouse, you'll see these identical beams spread throughout with red brick in the mix. There's a really nice spalled out piece of limestone. It just falls apart. Okay, well, really there's not a whole lot to see here besides destruction, but this is what the castle used to be. Now it's got a bunch of shanty trash everywhere. So with that, I guess I will pause this now. Unless I see something, on the way off, if I see something else, I'll pick up the recording. But this is where the Webb Castle used to be. I'd be standing in it if it was still here. Because Truman is off down over here. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pause this now. Just a little quick update on these remaining walls out here. I tried to look over them to find any shells or fossils or marine biology in them, but they're discolored and weathered, and it's making it hard to spot them. I'm not trying to spend all day out here, but they're there one way or another. They're inside the brick or stone. Apologies. They're inside the stone, or they're weathered out to where I can't see them. But I promise you, this is all limestone. They had a lot of it around here, so they used a lot of it. But this stuff is all weathered and discolored, and it makes it hard to find it. And these mosquitoes are making it really hard to concentrate. And it looks like they even put some mortar. It looks like they smeared mortar over a lot of this too, so it's making it extra hard to find anything. You see the clear signs of mortar being applied to the surface of these limestone, this limestone work here. But there's so much moss and weathering out here on these parts, I'm not going to spend any time trying to find any. I've already proven my point many times over. This stuff is just limestone. It's not transition material of any kind. But you know, you see how weathered and darkened up this is. It's hard to see anything sticking out. That's worth pointing out anyways. Because it wouldn't come clear through the camera anyways. It's just all darkened up. There's a pipe sticking out over here. Must have been a water feature here. Interesting. Well, let's see if I can't find a little bit on this over here. Yeah, this is all just discolored and dirty, and everything's blending in with the everything now. So this isn't a very good wall to look at, because like I said, various weathering and deterioration will make it hard to spot this stuff. But I can promise you it's there. I just can't see any of it. I'm not trying to spend any more time out here. As of right now, I'm pretty sure I'm done here. Because I don't need to spend any more time at this spot, I don't think. I just wanted to show the spot real quick, and it's already gone on 26 plus minutes. But this is the sad state the Webb Castle is in. Or what used to be the Webb Castle. You got these big iron pieces and this big stonecrete stuff here. Oh, that's melted together. No, it's a big bit of concrete. They even threw a brick in there. If I cared to, I'd come out here and chisel that out and show you it's still mostly a brick. What's left of it. Looks like they threw a broken brick in there at one point, because this looks like a mortar mix. You can see all the mortar mixture in here. And it's not cooked out, it's not charred, it's not burnt. So it's not melt. For that to be melt, it had to be cooked out. There's no evidence showing that stuff got so hot it melted and liquefied. It's all the same color as it was when it was made. So that's not melt. As much as you would like to think that's melt or proof of melt, it's not. That just shows that brick ended up in the mix somehow, by some means, by someone's decision was to put that brick in the mix. Because again, when you see red bricks and mortar mix or concrete mixes like that, cement mixes, all the above, that was an intentional decision. It wasn't melted to the point where it liquefied and became a glob of stuff. Just think about it. For it to have gotten that hot, it would have to have burnt and darkened and discolored and all the other signs I've shown of vitrification and melted stuff. You don't see any of it with those when there's red bricks and clear, just basic mixtures like that. So yeah, I think I'm done with this spot. Apologies for dragging this out. I thought I'd see more here, but with all the foliage and mosquitoes, I really am kind of unmotivated to keep poking around. So I'm just gonna go into the next spot. Actually, I'm just gonna not pause the video. I'm gonna actually just stop the video. I'm gonna have to put these parts together. Just another quick update on this front wall that's left. I didn't show a whole lot of shells or marine biology in this one, because it too is discolored heavily and has a bunch of mortar slopped over it, and it's discolored and it's just not worth trying to find it and all that mess. And I can't even get up to some of it because it's so high up, but I will say this has marine biology in it. You can't see it and separate the marine biology from the material. You probably shouldn't be looking at this material or making assumptions. So I can clearly see the materials, the marine biology in this limestone. And here's one of the pieces that was underground, one of the raw pieces. And you'll see there's a pocket of shells and stuff right here. Let me get stabilized here. It's hard to see, but there's little shells right here. I apologize, this is hard to see through a camera, but the naked eye can see it better. So there are shells right here. They're just discolored. Right above my fingernail, there's a few little shells. And there's a whole bunch of stuff there, but it's hard to make it all out. There's a little shell sticking out with another piece of fossil. And here's some more of the, and here's more of this limestone with more shells in it. I didn't cover this piece yet. You can just see all the stuff sticking out of it. Got a little piece here. Above my fingernail there's a piece. This whole stuff has just got so much little pieces of marine biology in it, you just can't single out one piece. It's broken up, fractured, in small pieces. It's just all over the place. But again, there's this one. These two are clear as day. They are mostly preserved still. There's some sticking out right here. You see how hard it is to see this stuff in this state, the state this wall is in. It's hard to see it, but it's there. Doesn't deter from the fact of what I'm saying, because it's still there, sprinkled everywhere in here. It's just really hard to see. Like there's a piece right here. The camera probably won't even pick it up, but there's a piece in there sticking out. It's just really hard to see. More of it right here above my fingernail. As you can clearly see, there's some marine biology right here. It's hard to see because of the weathering, but there's a piece right here, again above my fingernail. But one quick last look. I've already pointed out all the little bits of biology and marine biology in here. And this piece here, it's all broken up in small pieces. But it's already breakneck as it is, trying to go up these other higher pieces. And they got some kind of coating that was applied to them. Looks like someone put like a mortar render on it or something. It looks like they were trying to prevent this spalling here. Yeah, all the marine biology that's exposed on this wall has discolored from weathering. But there's little bits of shell and other stuff sticking out. But as you can see, it's completely discolored. It's really hard to find this stuff right now, because this wall is obviously not cleaned anymore and it's completely neglected. So the marine biology is there. It's just really hard to spot. But I did show out a bunch of it in this limestone bedding here. Which goes down under the ground still. Actually, some of it was sticking out right here. I might have covered those already, but oh well, I'll get them again. And there's some sticking out right over here. And I've also noticed naturally, as someone who used to break limestone open to find shells, I mean I still do whenever I do, but this broken exposed piece of limestone being cleaner is showing some of the more fractal pieces of the shells and marine biology in it. Possibly. I mean, it's there, I just can't make out anything, it's so damaged. But as I go down to all this broken up limestone, you can just see stuff everywhere in it. It's hard just to find just a single piece to show this. So much to see. But yeah, that's that. Apologies for that. Longer update than it needed to be. Here I found another piece of what is seemingly limestone built infrastructure here. And it's right across the street from the Mount Washington Cemetery. And you could just see stuff all in here as well. This looks like a varied kind of limestone, because not all limestone's the same, but this is definitely a form of limestone. It's a different layer of it, or a different kind. Because not, again, not all limestone is the same, but you can still see speckles of shells and biology in here. There's more in other pieces than others. They're not all the same. But I did find this really nice pocket of marine biology right here I wanted to show. This whole area has got marine biology in it. You see all the marine biology there, boys and girls? Got a shell sticking out right here. And yes, I'm right off of 24 highway, so got a bunch of marine biology right here. If you can't see it, I apologize. I promise you it's there. There's no excuses. If you can't see it, you're just choosing not to by this point. But there's another shell sticking out right here. How close do I gotta get for you to be able to see it? Oh, he's just showing random stuff. There's no proof of shells being in there. Yeah, there's a shell right there. You see the shell, buddy? Do you need your dunce cap back on? Probably hasn't come off yet. There's a bunch of pocketed marine biology right here. There's a shell. Whole bunch of marine biology. And this too has that tooling marks on it, so that's fascinating. I really need to figure out why that's there like that. Well, there's little bits of shell sticking out right here. So yeah, this is just another piece. So I guess there's this spot, and there's a piece of fossil sticking out right here. Is it clear enough for you to see? The lighting's kind of poor, but it's there. But I'm not trying to spend too much time on this one, but I just wanted to get this one in real quick. You see the various different stuff in there. Alright, I guess I'm going to go and leave it at that for this one. Here I found another random stop on the way to the other location. And as you can see, this stone material mixed with brick. Let's see if we can find some biology in here. Oh yep, there's some shells. Didn't take long to start spotting the shells and all the random bits of marine biology in here. Just all limestone. There's a tiny little shell sticking out. I'm not sure how much more clear that needs to be, but there's a tiny little shell. All these pieces have something in it. It's really hard just to find one piece to really look at. A lot of these have little pieces of stuff in them. Like I said, it's all fragmented and broken up. It's not all the same. But the fact I'm finding marine biology in all this points towards limestone, not melted, transitioned materials. And this is on some property, so I want to hurry and make this quick. There's a shell sticking out. Right there is a shell. Various other forms of marine biology. Looks like a shell sticking out right here. Oh, there's a shell sticking out. Let's see if I can't zoom in on this shell. Is it clear enough for you? Oh no, maybe it flooded after and coated it with shells. I guess this tooling mark there is a complete accident also. No, this shows this was quarried limestone. There's the tooling mark from it. It's so easy to disprove this theory that it's painful. Now there's shells sticking out above my fingernail. And yes, for the cameras probably watching me, I'm not here to do anything. I'm just recording the limestone and all the fossils and marine biology sticking out. And for those who can't see it, I'm sorry your eyesight's that poor, or you're that mentally blind. But I can go down this whole side of this infrastructure and look. They used the limestone and they built the other stuff on top of it. Who's to say there's red brick under there or not? I don't know. I can't tell. But one thing I can say with fact, undeniable, this is limestone. There's shells everywhere. Good, it stops right here, so I don't have to go any further than this. And then I'm gonna pause the video again and get on to my actual spot once I find it. But I just happened to see this and I wanted to record it. I found a few other spots, but they're on people's property, and I'm not trying to do that again because I don't have to prove my point. But this looks like a church or something. So I just wanted to record this spot. So more limestone, not transitioned material. And then they even mixed it and blended it with the red brick right here. See this, people? This isn't melt, this isn't some anomaly. They shaped these red bricks to conform with the limestone. They'll break them. See how this is broken and then mortared? Yeah, that's what happened. This isn't some fucking magical transitioning. They broke this brick and put it in there. I know that's so self-evident. I shouldn't have to explain that at this point, but here we got more broken down pieces to fit in here to be uniform with the limestone, because it's easier to shape and make the red brick fit than it is the limestone to get this nice straight line. So they would shape and modify the bricks to conform to the limestone. This is not a mystery. This isn't survivors. This isn't some weird fucking accident that these survived and those transmutated. You can clearly see the separation line, how they made this. There's no mystery here. You're cherry picking, that's just that one example. No, I could show these examples all day long. When I find the spots anyway. But this is a tile, looks like yeah, here it is. New Hope Church of Christ. So there's this spot. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pause until I find another spot to wreck this, prove my points more and further, because I said that's what I was gonna do, so that's what I'm gonna do. And yes, I'd wager this is a newer structure, but that doesn't hand wave away what I'm saying. Even if this structure is newer, the limestone is still evident, so let's not try to make excuses. I have found my next location with limestone infrastructure. And this too is a nice big limestone structure. It kind of reminds me of the Whip Castle and the Castle Workhouse, because wouldn't you know it, they used a lot of the same material. In fact, they did use the exact same material. Because as I've been trying to say, Kansas City and the Independence area heavily used limestone and brick. So let's go see what we can find here biology-wise, marine biology-wise. Might as well get some shots in while I'm here. Let's start with this corner here and start finding some shells. Marine biology. There's a whole bunch in here. It's just blended in with the colors. So I'm trying to find something that really sticks out. Like you can't even tell that's a shell, but it probably is. Whole bunch of pocketed marine biology in here. You're not showing anything. Yes, I am. It's just really hard to see with the camera. What's left of a shell sticking out right there. Other various marine biology. If I want that real definitive, undeniable shell, where is it at? Like I said, not all this limestone's equal, so it's speckled and harder to find sometimes. Because there are different layers to this limestone. More of it has, there's more shells in other layers than others. But more times than not, it's mostly just fractured in small pieces and it just blends in with the material. So I guess it's no wonder a lot of people that cover these buildings probably don't notice the shells because they are hard to see sometimes. Like there's what's left of that one. So I do apologize if I came off pretty harsh and abrasive about that last time. Like, why do people ignore it? Well, in their defense, I will defend them. It is actually hard to find these sometimes, even though they're there. But I'm going to do my due diligence and still point out the marine biology and all this. You can still see veins and pockets of it where it's all been like mixed into a powder and just made weird veins of biology. Why would this piece be sticking out like that? Wow. There's a damaged shell, what's left of it. But I know people aren't, I know there's some people out there that's gonna be like, oh, that's not good enough. For whatever weird reason they decided to make these like this, they clearly did. It looks like an aesthetic choice. These go all the way up like that. So these protruding limestone pieces were an aesthetic choice, not some weird bulbous transmutating material. Because again, I posed the question, if this was a single brick or however many bricks once, how when it transmutated or transitioned, whatever wording you want to use, how did this thing change? The mortar stayed perfectly fine and the building didn't collapse. I mean, that's all I have to say to destroy this transitioning material argument is, if this was all brick once, how did it transmutate and not collapse? But yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of little small stuff, but I'm not trying to show the little small bits because people are going to complain and say I'm not actually showing anything and it's not good enough. But I promise you, stuff is there. Bunch of little pockets of marine biology and all this limestone. There's that broken shell. You can see the outline of the shell right here. It makes a circle. Yes, that's a shell and it's got crystals in it. There's another tiny little shell right here with crystal in it. There's a little bit of crystal pocket of something with that look at a shell outer exoskeleton. But again, I'm trying to find that real obvious, undeniable, no excuse one, which is quite hard with some of this limestone, believe it or not. And again, that's why I'm going to defend people who have covered these and said they, haven't ever pointed it out, because it is hard to find. There's this weird fossilized looking creature thing in here. There's like a clear little separation of something that got in there. Some form of biology. Pretty clear there. I wonder if it was like a little fish or something. I'm not going to assume anything, so you can just ignore that. Now it's starting to rain, so gotta try to make this quick. Because I still want to go to one more spot and try to cover this building in its entirety as well, but I'm not going to be able to do all that today. I'll probably have to come back and do that another time. Apologies for the shoddy camera work here, but I'm trying to actually use my eyes to find the stuff that's completely undeniable, but I'm seeing a bunch of little speckles of it everywhere. But I know people will make excuses and say I'm not showing anything, so. But as I said, all this limestone's not all equal. Some have bigger pieces than others. There's another tooling mark here. So this shows it was quarried, not transmutated. Let's go up here and get it. Let's go up and get out the rain. Okay, let's try to find some more biology in this limestone. It is harder to see, but there are speckles of it all around in here. Try to make this quick. Don't want to spend too much time on it. And I would like to go ahead and try to record some of the actual structure itself. But I assure you there are bits of marine biology hiding in all this. There's something right here. There's a big old piece of it right here. And this limestone infrastructure. And as I said, Kansas City, Missouri and Independence is heavily built out with limestone and brick. It's gotten kind of dark in here, but let's go ahead and record some of the infrastructure itself. This is looks like a variation of limestone. It's a different color, but there's marine biology and such in it. I'm gonna try to get through this quickly. And try to get some views of the spot, the infrastructure itself. Because why not? But yes, I know the idea was to come out here and point out more of this marine biology, but it's kind of hard to see it in this more white limestone. But, you know, just to go ahead and save time, I guess I'll just start recording some of the infrastructure and not keep trying to point that out. Because really, once you see this big piece right here, and you know this is all the same material, that's really all you need to see. None of this has been transitioned from any brick to stone of any kind. But still an interesting infrastructure nonetheless. Send this archway in there. Very intentionally built like that. Let's just go on and get down here now. Let's go ahead and get some full-on shots of this time. I know I've already kind of captured this one. And yeah, FYI, the lighting's different because I found out after I was done recording this spot, I actually accidentally missed a lot of it. I guess I forgot to hit the unpause button, so I had to come back here and I'm redoing a lot of this. So sorry if the flow seems to be a little off or different. So I got to these steps over here, and then apparently I'd lost probably roughly almost an hour of recording. I'm back here again doing it all over. So it might seem or come off a little jarring or different contextually. But there's this cool infrastructure. Gonna get some nice pan ups on it. Let's get back up closer. There's some stuff over here I want to show again. Besides all this same limestone material. And yes, like I said, these protrusions of stone here were some form of aesthetic choice. And now it's gotten darker since I was last here recording, so I gotta be a little hastily, which I didn't want to have to do. But as you can see, the same material, limestone. This has some sort of fossil remnants in it. Some sort of remains of fossil here. But yeah. Again, that's an aesthetic of choice, having those stones sticking out. And yes, wouldn't you know it, there's shell, bunch of pockets of shells right here. The shell sticking out right here. Let's focus on these pockets of shells here for a little longer. Looks like a tooling mark. There's a shell sticking out. And this does look like a mixed variety of limestone. In fact, I'd wager this is a big shell right here. More little shells. Another big shell right here. You can actually see some of it sticking out. This is a bigger shell. So again, I think this is a variety of limestone. Because this, usually the darker bits have more fossils and marine biology in them. Sorry, someone drove by and had their obnoxious music playing. I had to pause it. But there's shells sticking out. But anyways, I was trying to say before the rude interruption, the darker limestone typically has more fossils in it. This whiter, more bleached out color limestone seems to have a little less of it. I say that because here's a darker piece of limestone. There's a bunch of shells sticking out. As you can see, all the marine biology in there. I mean, what more do you need to see? Just a bunch of shells sticking out. Other forms of biology. Shell. And I pan off over here. There's a shell sticking out right here. There's a shell right there. Yeah, another rude interruption from a loud vehicle that needs its goddamn exhaust fixed. Sorry. I'm already mad I had to come back here and do a second take on this. And now I got people driving by obnoxiously. But there's more shells. Various forms of marine biology in there. No sense in wasting too much time on that. Let's go ahead and get back and do a pan on this. Trying not to trip as I'm doing this. I'm gonna go ahead and pause this real fast. Okay, now that other obnoxious driver with their loud music playing has drove by, I wonder how many more times I can be interrupted. Let's Try to get this up here. Boy, now I know how annoying it is. Now I know how annoying it is to have to do a second take of almost an hour's lost worth of work. If anyone else has experienced that, I know your pain. It's very obnoxious. I lost probably roughly an hour of recording. I had to backtrack here to pick up where I lost the recording. Got some pretty cool cast things up there. Try to keep myself out of reflection this time. Actually, let's go ahead and go up and look at these cast iron lamps. Let me re-show these again. The lighting there is not going to work with me. Let's go back to the other side. The same thing did last time I was here. Okay, this one works better. I mean, I had said a lot of cool stuff, made a lot of good points too. Now I'm all off my flow now, so that's nice. But I'll make the best of it. Get this nice archway in here. All right, let's try to get through here quickly before I run out of daylight. The mosquitoes are being awfully annoying. More random bits of marine biology. Just speckled and sprinkled in all these various random parts. Well, I want to also record the infrastructure for what it is, as well as just pointing out the marine biology. I feel like I'd be doing a disservice to this building if I didn't actually record it and stop, and wasn't just distracted with pointing out marine biology. I'll point it out when it's warranted still though. But I assure you this is all basically various forms of limestone. And we got this going on. Do you see any random jitters or pauses from just background annoyances? I'm not going to say it every time I pause it, sporadically from here on. Now I hear a train coming, that's fine. And we got this wall here. Boy, I really am thinking about investing in an actual gimbal thing so I could walk around and have my phone balanced on a gyro instead of me having to hold it with my janky, messed up wrist. But this limestone wall goes down through here. We got some terracotta sticking out. We even have some limestone over here, and we have some old limestone infrastructure over there. I'm gonna go cover that wall there. I went up there and saw that in my last field recording. I'm not gonna go back up there again. There's nothing worth seeing up there, but I will cover this lower wall down here, and then I'll go cover that building and some stuff over there, and probably be done with this one, because I probably won't be able to make it to my last location I was wanting to go to. But oh well, I forgot to record this backside anyway, so I guess it's kind of a good thing I came back over here. I mean, I wish it didn't happen, but here I am. Let's go and get this recorded a little bit. We got ourselves a kitty meow, laying there watching me. My bike is over there out of my sight, so hopefully no one messes with it. Try to quickly capture this limestone palace. I'm just going to call it that just because I can. In fact, I'm just going to basically start calling the Kansas City, Missouri area and Independence and all that stuff a limestone city because there's so much of it out here, or used to be. A lot of it got destroyed. You see remains in survival in random places all over the place. This limestone walls, the infrastructure. But again, a lot of it got destroyed. But the surviving ones got repurposed. I don't want to do a bunch of zooming in and out. But yeah, there's this side of the limestone infrastructure here. Go on ahead. Hey there, kitty. I'm gonna go on ahead and pause this. Since I missed it last time, I'm gonna go ahead and cover some of the shells I've been noticing on these steps as well, because there's been seeing some marine biology in these steps. Just go ahead and record some of it. I'm not trying to specifically spot anything and show it. I'm just recording the steps themselves. But yeah, let's get to the shell that's in it. There's a shell sticking out right here. It's a tiny little guy, but it's there. Apologies that the camera don't pick it up very well, but there's in fact a little shell sticking out right here. Looks like some other speckles here. Yeah, most of these like little dentions or shells at one time, I believe. But that's all I wanted to show with that. Okay, take 2 on this wall now. And I'm going to do the super short version. I don't want to go on and ramble and show the whole thing again. It took too long last time. But here's this limestone wall. And I did spot this really awesome shell sticking out of the wall here. That's a pretty large shell. There's another piece of it sticking out right over here. It's another shell. So I really don't know what more proof do you need than that. That's what a shell looks like in limestone. What's left of it anyways. So there's that shell. I mean, that's a big slap in the face. More limestone. And I did find this terracotta. Everyone's favorite, as I joke about. Washed out of the ground here. So there's that. Like I said, I'm not going to go back up there this time for my second take because there's nothing really up there to see. And there's cameras and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and just go walk the bike along this wall, I guess. For the second time now. And here's what I would call a repair to hide the spall damage on this damaged spalling limestone. And limestone just spall and cracks out like this. It's not cooked out, it's not heated up, it's not melted. That's just what limestone does and other various materials will do when they spall. They put this render over this as well. which is already starting to fail, because that's the type of dumb shit we do as a modern society. I mean, I guess there's not much you can do to fix this stuff when it's falling out and falling apart. So, as this stuff is all affected differently at different rates. Some holds up, some of it holds up, and others don't. Really not much else to say. There's this wall here. I'm not going to go up and show every bit of marine biology. It's taken too much time. I've already shown the other bits of marine biology in the material, and it's all the same material, so there's really no reason to have to go up and keep showing it at this point, because I'll just go on ahead and just walk along this wall here. And as for David Wayne had shared a video link and said explain, and I did my best to explain what I was seeing in that video, which of course never got replied back to or nothing, but that's fine. I'm not mad about it. It's fine. I'm cool with David Wayne. I got nothing against him. I like his content. But I was explaining what I saw was heavily spalled material, and since I'm not there in person, I don't know what it is, but it does appear to be some form of limestone, and it's heavily spalled out. And I said they had put this newer concrete rendering on it to try to save the wall from spalling. It's obviously really bad up there because it's really bad winters. Tooling mark. And yeah, so the spalling damage up in Minneapolis is really bad because the winters are really extreme and cold, and there's lots of moisture up there. So a lot of the infrastructure and all the old stuff that's really old has a lot of heavy spall damage. So as I was saying, they put this rendering on the wall to try to prevent that from getting worse, but it didn't because the material was already compromised. As you can see, this had a full bit of rendering on, a full bit of render, but it came off because this is already compromised, and this stuff is just falling off still because it's not adhering properly anymore. So the some of that guy's video up, he didn't show or prove anything that I couldn't explain. It's just he has a humongous lack of understanding of what he's looking at, and that's not my fault. That's his problem, not mine. I understand what I'm looking at enough to where I know it's not a mystery, because unfortunately when people come to the conclusion or convince themselves everything's a lie and there's no truth in anything they're telling us, what do you honestly have to work with at that point besides convincing yourself of what you want to see? Because once you just discard and throw everything away and all the other possibilities away, you don't have anything to really work with. You just done tossed it all away. And the mind has a weird way of trying to compensate for that. So all I see is a lack of understanding because no one wants to accept what they're looking at, which is unfortunately the trap they've got themselves into. So yeah, it's not that much of a mystery. I mean, it's only a mystery because everyone's convinced themselves that nothing's true, everything's a lie, etc., etc. And that's how the rabbit holes and the tricking of the mind starts. You have to believe in something to work with something. To have something to work with, essentially. But yeah, again, that guy's video didn't prove anything, and I explained it. So you can take the answers and do what you want with it. That's fine. Totally your choice. If anyone reads it or sees it. And I'm not being mean to the guy, but he didn't prove anything. All he showed me in his videos, he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand what he's looking at. That's all he showed me in that video. So let's go back over to this crappy newer building. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause it until I get over there because, yeah, this one's a real shit show. Okay, let's just make this one quick because I was already here once and it didn't get recorded for some bizarre reason. But This is a newer infrastructure. This has hollowed out pieces. So it's clearly a newer infrastructure, trying to look old. And here we have some spalled out bricks, because bricks will spall and peel and fall apart too. So here's a little bit of spalling damage. This isn't cooked out, it's not heated up, it's just spalled. You see a lot of red bricks look like that too in these those really cold climates that have really bad winters and moisture. This is all spall damage. And I found more of it over here. This has lots of brick spalling going on over here. See how this stuff just flakes away? It's all spalled out brick. It's not cooked out. It's nothing weird. It's no fantastical thing going on here. This is just some bricks spalling out and not holding up as good as the others. So those aren't cooked out, those are just spall damage. And let's go on ahead and get knock around on some more of these materials. Clearly hollow. Hey, at least they tried, right? So yeah, this is just a newer turd. So I'm not going to record this one any further than that. And I'd honestly believe every bit of 1955 for this structure. To be completely honest, I believe every bit of that for the cornerstone on this one. So let's just go on ahead and pause this, go on to the back side of this building. I noticed this piece, interesting iron work here, looks rather old, I'd say. Very interesting. Not sure what it is or what it's doing in this weird random spot, but it's here. Got the old rivets on it, completely rusted out and deteriorating. Corrosion, heavy corrosion. But yeah, I can't see in there. I don't have a flashlight, so. But then I noticed this newer turd was attached to this older building back here. I'm probably not going to get up close to this because I don't have a whole bunch of time left. It's getting dark. So I was up over here doing a bunch of stuff, looking around, but since my video for some reason didn't record any of it, even though I could have swore I was unpausing the video and all this stuff, it apparently, yeah, whatever. Anyway, another one of these stone infrastructures. Again, the Kansas City, Missouri area and Independence were heavily built out with stone infrastructure and red brick. Various colors of bricks anyway. This does have a basement level right off over here. So we got a basement level. Got some interesting stonework. Let's just go on and get up here real fast. Look at this masterpiece, wood infrastructure. And this is what this building is claiming to be. Seems like a common theme around here, Mount Washington. And this is saying 1927. You can see how they modified the bricks to conform to the older building with the separation here. Not melted or transitioned into this material. These aren't survivors. Clearly this is a newer infrastructure anyway, so that's a bad point to make. But when you do see stuff like this next to this, that's what it is. Generally. Try to get some few quick shots here. Get some of these window details in there. Probably go ahead and start down here and just get this arch in here real quick. Some fairly old iron work going on there. Looks like wires. So let's go and get the back side. Now I don't believe the date of 1927 for this infrastructure at the moment, naturally. So let's go and get back. Pretty big building, so I don't want to have to get too close and have to do a bunch of breakneck stuff here. This should be enough for people to see it. Don't have to get close or show any of the biology in there. It's clear as day. This is a stone infrastructure. It was never brick. And here we do have one of these things Ross finds all the time. We got some majestic. Oh, it says 1926 on there. I mean, of course, this could have been added later, but I don't know at what point am I doing mental gymnastics myself to explain this stuff at some point. You know, at which point am I doing mental gymnastics, right? That does clearly say 1926 on there, but I'm just saying it could have been added later. I'm sorry for the bumbling there. Let's get back and get this side. Not sure exactly what part I left off here, so it's just going to have to do, I guess. And yes, the Whip Castle and the Kansas City Workhouse was built in the same fashion as this, so it is a very common theme in these areas. As I keep repeating now, that's why I say these areas were built out like this with a bunch of stone and red brick. It's a very prevalent theme around here, I've noticed, with the survivors anyway. There goes it. Oh, sorry. There's a gentleman over there. I don't want to capture him in my video here of this documenting of this infrastructure. Actually, with that in mind, I think I'm just going to leave that there. In fact, I just want to get these, there's old, probably won't be able to see it now, but there is an old stone wall hiding down here, right here. I'm not going back down there to document it because the mosquitoes are horrible down there and it's dark now. So just take my word for it, there is a stone wall down there. And I guess I'll leave it at that for now. I would record more back there, but since I was here last, a gentleman popped up and he's sitting back there. So guess I'll have to skip out on the other shots of this building. He hopped on a walkie-talkie, so I don't know who he's contacting or what, but I'm just gonna go on ahead and stop this video and head on out of here.